Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 207 of the RRBG Podcast. This podcast is a proud member of the Podbelly Network. Go to podbelly.com and check out all the amazing shows we have on our network, including the Sofa King Podcast, Robots for Eyes, Art and Jacob Do America. I mean, there's one for everything that you're into. If you're into Magic the Gathering, they got you. If you're into the occult, they got you. You're into serial killers, they got you. Everything. Go to podbelly.com, check out the list, and support the network. For the last few weeks, I've been sitting here making jokes about Sheath Underwear, trying to be funny, but I want to take a moment to be serious a little bit. Robert Patton is the creator and owner of Sheath Underwear. He is a U.S. Army veteran, and he came up with the idea for this underwear while he was out in the Iraqi desert, serving our country, protecting your rights. And as you can imagine, being in a combat scenario like that, running around in boxers is just not ideal. Uncomfortable, could even be a life-threatening situation. So he came up with Sheath Underwear. I have some right here. Now, the material itself is super soft. I love it, just for that reason alone. But on top of that, he came up with this pouch idea, so you can put your junk in there, and it gives you this incredible support. Perfect for when you're in a combat situation like that. It keeps you dry, it keeps your stuff separated, so there isn't any friction. It's also really great if you're a combat sports athlete, or a professional wrestler like our guest today. And even if you're not, they're just very, very comfortable, and I highly encourage that you check it out. So go ahead to sheathunderwear.com, use my promo code RRBG, and save 20%. And look, you can even use it as a face mask. This episode is also brought to you by Killcliff. My friends over at Killcliff make the best energy drink you can buy in the market today. Clean energy, none of that crap that they put in Monster or any of those Red Bulls. No sugar. Just clean power for all the grind you're going to have to put in today. And if you're not grinding today and you just want to relax, they also have CBD drinks to help you recover from any injuries you may have, any kind of inflammation. Maybe you went a little too hard at the gym. CBD drink will get you right back on track. Go to their website, killcliff.com. Check out all their different flavors. My personal favorite Ignite drink is the Cherry Limeade. And in the CBD category, you have to try the Joe Rogan Special. It's the Flaming Joe Pineapple with Jalapeno. It's not that spicy. You just get a little bit of a kick at the end. It's delicious. Go to killcliff.com and tell them that RRBG sent you. This podcast is also brought to you by El Yucateco Hot Sauce. You know, I got to tell you, I've been eating a lot more Mexican food these days as I live in LA, and it's just inevitable at this point. So having a really good hot sauce at my disposal is kind of crucial. And my go-to right now is El Yucateco Hot Sauce. They are a staple. They come in so many different flavors. You can get the verde sauce with jalapenos, or you can get the habanero sauce. They have this special like black sauce, which is a special reserve sauce. I mean, for whatever level Scoville you can handle, I'm sure you can find yourself a sauce here. And if you go to shop Yucateco.com, use the promo code RRBG, and you'll get 10% off of your purchase. This podcast is also brought to you by Saints Joints. Go to saintsjoints.com and check out all the awesome products they have there, including the new Book of Saints that comes with 4 packs of pre-rolled joints. It's this incredible, lavish, luxurious-looking gold foil stash box. The works. It's the best-looking stash box I've seen. Make sure to go pick one up before they're all gone. And also check out the new hash-infused pre-rolls. Don't forget, it's saintsjoints.com, and make sure you tell them that we sent you. In this episode, I talked to Rocky Romero. He is a professional wrestler with New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's got a match coming up at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 6 against Chavo Guerrero. We talked a bit about that. We talked a little bit about his career. We talked about hanging with the Good Brothers and his podcast, TalknShop. We talked about his Puerto Rican heritage. And we talked a little bit about booze. It was a great conversation, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Follow him on social media at Azúcar Rock. Make sure to watch his match at Bloodsport 6. You can pre-order the pay-per-view now. And please, check out our Patreon page. Go to patreon.com/RRBG. Cheers.
In my former days, I was a king. But now I look forward to the future as I send you crying down that road of Nakasuzo.
Eye patch wearing, nefariously daring, notorious, much more than glorious. Forever clotheslining like a minibus with a surplus of energy for all my enemies.
Black Tiger Soul, Roppongi Hero.
Pop this brewski. I have a special brewski here from Japan just for you. The Okinawa
Orion, beautiful. I'm jealous.
Mm.
I'm so jealous.
Are you not drinking right now?
I'm not drinking at the moment just because I got a bunch of stuff to do. But
okay.
But I hope to be by sometime this week.
So what's up, everyone? Welcome to the RRBG podcast. I'm here with Rocky Azúcar Romero.
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
All right, so check this out. I don't typically like research people, even if I'm a fan. Like, I'm a fan of yours. I've watched all your matches. Not all your matches. That's an exaggeration. I watched a lot of your matches, and I'm a fan. But I don't go in and like, ooh, let me find out about his life and like, you know, background, everything. I really don't. I don't do that for anyone in bands or anything like that, unless they're going to be on the podcast, and then I do research, right? And I pull you up and you're Cuban?
No.
Cuban American professional wrestler?
I'm a fake Cuban. At one time it said I was Puerto Rican. That's the truth.
Okay.
Mom and dad my dad was from Rincon, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And my mom, she's a New Yorican. She's from the Bronx.
New Yorican.
And, yeah. But when I started, this was like right after, during the Boricua's time, it was like 97, I started training. So like my trainer, Jesse Hernandez, said, there's too many Puerto Ricans in wrestling. You don't want to be Puerto Rican. Let's tell everybody you're Cuban. We'll call you the Cubanitos. So that stuck. So like, you know, the first like 5, 6, 7 years of my career, I was like the Los Cubanitos or Havana Pitbulls, like with Ricky Reyes. So like everybody just thought we were Cuban. And every time I go to Miami, bro, I feel so sad because there's so many people coming up to me like, bro, you're Cuban. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh. So are you Cuban?
I'm Cuban. Yes, I'm Cuban.
I ruined it.
I guess let me delete all of my notes.
There was somebody had a history of me that I was like born in Cuba, like when I was in Mexico, and then it was like a whole thing, and I was like, I didn't even know what to say. I was like, this is like pre-internet of like now where you can just research everything, but you know.
Well, on your Wikipedia it says you're Cuban, brother.
We got to get it changed.
Especially because there's such a beef between the Cubans and Puerto Rican. Did that offend you in any way, like deep inside, when they're like, you should just be a Cuban? You're like, damn it, but I hate Cubans.
No, I respect Cubans, man. I love Cuban food. I love Cubans. I think they're so eccentric. I love the way they talk, man. You know.
Yeah, they talk very drunk sounding. Is what I was gonna say. Yeah. But no, I love that there's like this weird beef. Like, I don't know where it comes from, but like amongst my friends, there's always this weird beef between Puerto Ricans and Cubans, and they like rag on each other all day, ribbing each other. It's insane, dude.
Yeah, I'm not with that. I love my Cuban brothers and sisters, and you know, I mean, what's the difference between a Puerto Rican and a Cuban?
Very
like,
little.
120 miles, maybe less. I don't even know. 50 miles.
Gandules y frijoles negros. That's the difference right there, bro.
That's real
So, bro, you have a big fight coming up with Chavo Guerrero on Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. Our homie Josh hooked us up. Thank you, Josh, for hooking it up.
Shout out.
But, you know, this is your second Bloodsport now.
Correct.
First Bloodsport, you took on Simon Grimm. That was fun to watch. I'm a big fan of Simon as well. He's been on the show. But tell me, how was it that, you know, what appealed to you most about doing the Barnett's Bloodsport? Aside from your obvious relationship you have with him from New Japan and everything, but... Right.
Well, I mean, like, I've always been a fan of like that kind of style. Like a lot of, I think, you know, U.S. American Western viewers, you know, their first time seeing Bloodsport or the type of wrestling that Bloodsport is. I mean, really, it's just like a modified, cooler way to present, like, you know, the old Japanese UWFI style or ring style, you know. So like if you're like a super wrestling nerd like me, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then you're just like, what the hell? But it basically, you know, like Japanese professional wrestling, you know, in the 80s kind of went two ways. There was one way that went really professional wrestling, like similar to the style that we kind of know now. And then there was another wave that went the other way where they tried to make it more like MMA
martial arts based, and that's basically how Pride started,
Right.
rings and pancakes and all this stuff. So like all derived from that professional wrestling side that went that way. So so I've always been a fan of that, like Tamura and all this. So I remember like in 2002 when Josh would come and train at the original New Japan LA dojo in Santa Monica, you know, we would have conversations about UWFI. I knew he was a big UWFI fan. We would talk about Tamura and all this stuff when he just started doing pro wrestling, like proper in like New Japan. So he kind of always knew that. He always like, I got to train with him a lot, and he showed me all these really cool things that work for us. So like, that's kind of where we built our relationship. And then, so obviously, you know, this is all pre UFC boom. So now everybody knows what an armbar is,
right,
or, you know, or, you know, a double wrist lock or whatever like that. But like in 2002 or whatever it was, nobody really knew that, you know, for the most part, the masses didn't really know that because they hadn't been exposed to it just yet. So now the style like this, Bloodsport, especially how they present it, you know, in like this kind of like dingy garage type setting, you know, it's like a Fight Club thing. And it feels that way. It feels heavy. It's just something that I'm a natural and I want to be a part of it, even though like the beginning of my career was very more focused in that kind of style, but now it kind of became more of like a goofy, fun kind of showman. I have, you know, that's all my basics. So I kind of wanted to be a part of Bloodsport to show like, you know, I could still throw down.
I'm still a wrestler. You know?
I'm still I can still throw. I'm still a wrestler.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys know me as like, you know, a commentator for New Japan and this and that, but like really I'm a wrestler and I'm a really good one at that. And I can do this, you know? So I think a lot of people were surprised by the first Bloodsport match with Simon. So, but I heard a lot of people had a lot of nice things to say. So it's always nice when they go, oh, forgot Rocky was a wrestler. Cuban dude who won't shut up.
Yeah, right, man. It's crazy because it really does. What Josh has accomplished with Bloodsport is give it this like I don't know, this like respect value that like for me, for example, like seeing you in there. I mean, I knew you could work because I seen you in New Japan. I mean, I've seen a bunch of your matches in New Japan, and I know you can work. And it's like I wasn't surprised. But it was still like, fuck yeah, good. Like that, it's a new level of respect that you're doing that. You're stepping up and doing it. And same with like Mox, seeing Moxley there, having him step up to Barnett. Like that's going to be a huge card, I think, you know?
Dude, can we talk about how dope Jon Moxley is?
Dude, he's pretty dope.
Dude, I think he might be my favorite wrestler in the last 2 years, year and a half.
Yeah.
I think he's my favorite wrestler to watch. Ever since he did that New Japan G1, where he's just like wrestling all these different styles. I didn't even know he could do any of that. You know, like I knew him like he's a hardcore guy. He could do the WWF, you know, WWE style, you know, really well. And he's just like
sports entertainment.
But I knew that like on the inside, he's a wrestler's wrestler, right? Like he's like a living, breathing Terry Funk type wrestler, you know, but like, and then he like would wrestle, you know, one guy and then have like this like strategy style where he like working over the leg and the body part and then comes up with all these funky like submissions. I'm like, what the, like, I didn't even know he could do that. So like just the, you know, he had like, I would say 9 different, you know, singles matches in that G1 or 10, whatever it was. And each one was very different, which was cool, you know. And my favorite one was him and Ishii was probably my favorite one. That was so sick at Korakuen.
Yeah, man, but, great fucking man. I love Ishii, man. That dude. I could watch Ishii and Suzuki just like slap each other until the end of time, and I'm good.
Dude, Mox Suzuki was insane. That was insane.
Yeah.
That was insane. Especially the way he did it, like with the Tokyo Dome. Suzuki just walks down the ramp, all badass as hell. I was like, what?
Such a high moment in wrestling, and people, you know, people like to talk shit like, oh, wrestling, you know, all this AEW's happening and WWE's fucking up and whatever. I'm like, dude, if you like wrestling, this is a very good time to be a wrestling fan. There's a lot of cool shit happening. I don't know if you're paying attention.
And it's everywhere, you know, which is cool. So, yeah.
Yeah. And Mox, I mean, I liked Mox even before, like when he was Ambrose or whatever. And, you know, I haven't Ambrose Asylum shirt that my wife bought me because that's how much I would watch his matches and shit. She's like, "Here, I know you like him." I'm like, "Oh, okay." But even then, you know, it was a little goofier at certain points and whatever. I could still see like the potential that there's some shit going on. Like the guy knows what he's doing. And then when I saw him go to New Japan, I'm like, ooh. And it just kept escalating. And then when I saw him in Bloodsport, I'm like, well, yeah. Well, you know, that's it. Like, that's... The dude is himself is a huge fan of wrestling and loves the business and is willing to do whatever it takes to elevate it. I think that's fucking great. So,
dude, he's a man. He's a man. I'm definitely now that I got to know him a little bit too. Like, you know, I'm even more of a fan of his. You know, like personally. So, yeah, I support whatever that guy does. And for him and Barnett to finally mix it up, because like I feel like it's been like a year or
the cursed match, man.
Yeah, in the making.
This is the third attempt, I believe, to make that match happen.
Oh, right. Yeah, because then he got like staph infection or something.
Yeah, he got the first time he got staph infection, which also fucked up his match with Omega, and then the second time it was COVID. It's like fuck, it's never gonna happen. But yeah, it's finally happening. April 8th, which is soon. Yep. So are you ready?
I'm good. I'm feeling great. Yeah, I mean, my personal life is crazy right now because I've been moving and stuff. Yeah. But I'm completely ready to wrestle, you know, against Chavo. And you know, Chavo's another guy who's like,
I'm impressed to see Chavo in the Bloodsport ring. You know, I'm like, what? I mean,
I'm surprised about it too.
I mean, he's wrestling royalty. Obviously, the Guerrero family is, you know, royalty. So it's really cool to see him, you know, elevate that too as well. Like jump in there and mix it up.
Yeah, I definitely think like when you look at all the matches, right? Obviously, like Mox and Barnett sticks out because that's an interesting one, right? And all these, you know, there's a lot of like just straightforward, like, okay, you know, there's going to be badass with Dickinson and like Mercer and whatever. But then you see Chavo and Rocky, you're like, I don't know, what is this going to be? like how is Chavo going to be? You know, how does Rocky? Okay, we saw Rocky. He can kind of do this stuff, like, you know, like this style. Like, okay, cool, we're cool with it. We like what we saw, but like, what is actually going to happen? So, I don't know what's going to happen either. So, I'm pretty.
I mean, they could tune into TalknShop Mania too and get it.
The funny thing is, like, when it got announced, I got a text from Chavo. He goes, he goes, should Chico El Luchador versus Zombie Chavo, should we do that instead of Bloodsport?
No, I don't know, man.
Not a bad idea.
I don't know. Let's talk to Josh.
Yeah. Josh will just come out and kill us.
What are you guys doing?
Yeah, what are you guys doing? Zombie Chavo, Chico, get the fuck out of here.
But that's awesome, man. I mean, I know you guys have worked together before, but I mean, every match you can have against Chavo is a you know, another notch on the belt. It's a, you know, like I said, royalty. The Guerrero family has been around, you know, forever and are so crucial to the industry as a whole. So absolutely. I mean. With this happening and working in Bloodsport, which has Mox, and then also looking at AEW, working with New Japan and working with Impact, and you got the Good Brothers over there. I mean, have you thought about doing something at AEW? Like, where do you think this is all heading?
You know, I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I would, of course, I'm always down. Like Chavo, I was thinking about when you were talking about Chavo, like Chavo's such a great ambassador of professional wrestling in so many ways, right? Like this family, what his family has done, the amount of time that his family has been involved in professional wrestling, and the amount of time that Chavo's been on, you know, worldwide television, and even how he continues to, you know, he was working on The Rock show, The Young Rock.
He was on Glow.
He was on Glow, and he's just, I feel like, a great ambassador. So I was thinking, like, that's something that I would want to be, you know, and what I'm trying, I guess, to be is like be an ambassador, you know, representing, I guess, New Japan in a way, you know, to Impact or to AEW, you know, Ring of Honor in the past, you know, and even I just did the ROH anniversary show and did commentary there. So, like, why not, you know, especially during this whole pandemic, like, it's hard to have a voice when so much is going on in Japan and you know, we're over here in the US and it's so separated right now, you know, besides like our product, New Japan Strong, every Friday night. Cheap plug. But
Cheers,
cheap plug. There you go. Cheers. And but I feel like, yeah, I would want to be the guy to go and, you know, dip his toes into Impact or AEW. You know, like we saw Finn Juice go to Impact, which I thought was cool.
Kenta went out there.
The tag title. Yeah, that was Kenta went and did the AEW. Yeah. So maybe I'd be the first junior to go and do that. You know, like maybe that route. Or
I mean, you have a door right there with the Good Brothers, man. The Good Brothers are on AEW every week now.
That's true. Those guys are working so hard right now. Like it's hard to find time for us to even you know, sit down once a week to do our podcast, you know. So like it's just really, really crazy right now. But like it's great for the fans and for the wrestlers, you know, because you know, we started the pandemic with wrestlers not knowing what was going to happen. We saw a bunch of wrestlers get released and, you know, things changed, a bunch of independent wrestlers not being able to make cash, you know. Then now here we are in this, you know, this explosion, kind of everybody's kind of figured out how to, you know, work around this pandemic. And now all these opportunities are coming, you know? So I can't wait to see what happens in like a year, you know?
It's getting crazier, man. Did you see what they announced today?
No. Tell me.
Stone Cold's podcast on Peacock on the WWE network with Chris Jericho.
What?
I was like, wait, what? And like Jericho posted it and was like, we're breaking the forbidden door or whatever the fuck. I'm like, what's happening?
That is wild.
Because I tried explaining to my wife why that's a big deal. And she was like, you're a nerd. Shut up. Like, you fucking Mark. I'm like, no, but listen, that opens that door for real. Like, you know, there was obvious like tension between Jericho leaving the WWE and going to AEW. So them working together means other stuff can work together. You know what I mean? If you can have AEW going over to like NXT or vice versa and like mixing that entire pool, Impact, all of them all together, like that's the
at least
ideal
conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's at least a conversation. I mean, it could be just Stone Cold because Stone Cold can do anything.
He can
and
do whatever the
Jericho
fuck he wants.
can do anything,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like, but like, it's at least opens a conversation of like, hey, why wouldn't we want to do something here and there? Or, you know, or like maybe there's a guy that's, you know, like you said, a guy or a gal in NXT or on SmackDown that they haven't really done anything with. They don't know what to do with. Why not send them over to, you know, to AEW or to Impact or New Japan and heat them up and then send them back, you know, or like what, you know, I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. So, I don't know, that's pretty wild. That blows my mind that that's even going on.
That's an interesting move. I think it's an interesting time. Like I said, I think Bloodsport's going to keep growing too. Like it's its own thing. And you know, it can definitely start incorporating if everybody's going to start working together like this. I mean, I know GCW's done stuff with Ring of Honor and like Impact wrestlers as well. So I don't know. It's just a really good time. And this weekend coming up is the biggest weekend. I mean, you got Thursday Bloodsport, and it's going to start leading into WrestleMania time, and everybody's got their events going on. So it's a fun time, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, even TalknShop has an event. I might as well plug it.
Go for it. Yeah, please. I want to talk to you about TalknShop. I love it.
Okay. Let me pull it up. We can talk about TalknShop while I get all the information because I don't even know the information.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to keep up. Because there's so much shit, like you said, there's so much stuff going on. But I try and keep up with as many of the TalknShop episodes that I remember listening to it when it was still part of Jericho's thing. You know, when they would show up and talk and get drunk in a hotel room. That's
where it blew up. You know, they would get so drunk that they couldn't remember that they podcasted the day before. It would be so crazy. There's some wild stories. But I mean, yeah, it blew up on there. And then obviously, you know, when the Good Brothers got released from WWE in the beginning of this whole pandemic, then, you know, it just kind of went crazy. And they, you know, Gallows had this crazy idea to do TalknShop and Mania. And I feel like that really like just pushed, you know, the podcast even more and vice versa, you know. So
the worst pay-per-view ever, or what is it they call it?
The worst pay-per-view ever. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's still available for anybody who hasn't checked that out. I mean, they're crazy. They're crazy, wild, like straight out of the mind of Anderson and Gallows. We're just two nutcases.
I mean, if you know who the Good Brothers are, you know what to expect. Have you seen some of the stuff they're doing on the YouTube with AEW?
On the BTE, I heard that's
I remember just like, let me, the Good Brothers are on, because I don't watch BT. There's too much shit going on. So
Right.
I'm like, I'm good. But I heard the Good Brothers were on. I'm like, all right, let me check it out. And they're both naked, helicoptering their dicks. And I'm like, what is that? What's happening?
Hell yeah.
Like, all right, cool. Yeah. It's a good contrast to
about right.
the Young Bucks releasing a children's book,
Right. Good Christian kids.
Yeah, good old. No, that's a relationship I never truly understood. Like when it happened, I was like, all right, cool. But yeah, like really wholesome kids
Right.
hanging out with the Good Brothers. It's a little odd.
Right. Man, I think that they're just amused by the Good Brothers. That's what I think. I think the Young Bucks are just, because they would never live that life. They would never, do helicoptering their dicks around. So like, I feel like they're just like so amused by it, because it's just like, what? It's like watching, I don't know, somebody self-destruct. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I get it. I always had that one friend who was a complete lunatic that people avoided, but I'm like, I'm going to go hang out with that guy tonight.
I laugh every time. The thing is, like, every time I hang out with the Good Brothers, I just can't stop laughing. You're just laughing for like, 8 hours, and your face is all hurting, and you got like pain, and you drank a half a bottle of tequila. You didn't even know that you're just having the best time of your life. And I think that's one of the best things about them. Like, they're just really, really great dudes and great human beings. And like, they're just fun to be around. And that's kind of like what everybody just loves about them. They're literally the Good Brothers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They're the Good Brothers. They're hard workers. They are friendly. And they also created this kind of weird, like, I have this weird thing now. If I see somebody with like a Bullet Club shirt or a Good Brothers shirt, and I throw up the Too Sweet,
Yeah.
and they look and turn and they give me a Too Sweet, I'm like, no one else has that.
Yeah, that's true.
Who has that?
Super true. Yeah.
Like it's
almost like your own secret club. Like, what's up? Oh, what's up, man?
Yeah, it harkens back to the old school, like metal dudes that would do the horns to each other. But it's like, you know what that is. And if you know what that is, then you're in the know. We're now have something in common, and we can actually have a conversation just by doing this.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's not
breaking down walls, man. Talk about doors and walls and windows. I mean, the Good Brothers, who knew?
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
It's kind of weird too how they got let go that like after a match with Taker, which is like the highest honor you get, right? At WrestleMania. Like
Taker's last match, they work with Taker, and then no, I mean, completely. I mean, I think we kind of all found out why and how they kind of got released, after all the information that came out. But it's crazy that it even happened. Like, especially like those guys. We're doing they did their best work, I think, with AJ at that moment, like with Taker. That was awesome. That was an incredible time. So
yeah, that was a fun match.
It is what it is. It is what it is. I mean, those guys completely bounced back and turned, a negative into an extreme positive.
Oh,
and they're one of the driving forces of why 100%, one of the reasons why, Impact and AEW are working together, and so, and even why maybe New Japan is in the mix. I mean, if you think about it, because they're kind of like still connected to New Japan. I mean, if it wasn't for this pandemic, I mean, they'd probably be there already,
Yeah. Yeah. And they're always representing Japan too. I mean, you look at their gear, it's always got,
Right.
Japan text all over it. Either hiragana or katakana. I know some Japanese.
There you go. No, I mean, you got to know where you came from, right? Like, you always got to respect and know where you came from. I think that's what is important. No matter how high you go and the places that you reach, I think you always got to have at least, some toes on the ground and know exactly where you came from. I think that's important. And really, Japan put them on the map, especially Carl Anderson.
Yeah. And I mean, yourself too. I mean, you've been there with Roppongi and doing your thing for a while. And it's one of those things, like, you are a New Japan wrestler. Like, that's, that's all it is. It's not, you're not like a free agent type of guy that's just floating around everywhere. Like, you're from New Japan. So,
you know what? That's crazy that you say that, because that's all I ever wanted. like once I like realized that I wanted to be a professional wrestler, like for real, like try to like do this as my livelihood or try to make it a career out of it. That's the only place that I wanted to be, that's the only place that I wanted to wrestle. I wanted to wrestle for New Japan. I just thought it was the coolest, I really just even, I think watching like the first J Cup with like Liger and Eddie Guerrero and all these guys, it just like expanded my mind. Like, look at this and look how the fans treat the wrestlers. And like, there's like just so much like respect. It's like a sports spectacle, more than anything. And and there were some parts that reminded me of like that 80s kind of feeling, that kind of like romanticized thing that I grew up watching, on WWE or whatever, or WWF at that time. And, kind of before it like really changed, so I feel like, I don't know, I fell in love with it. That's what I wanted to do. And it's crazy that, I'm a New Japan wrestler right now.
You are, man. You did it.
I've been one for quite a while, which is nice.
You did it, man. Fuck yeah. And like, not only that, but you also like, we were talking a lot about the Good Brothers, but you're part of the TalknShop podcast. Did you pull up the events for the?
I do. So it's Friday night, April 9th, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. I mean, we're going hard, I guess.
Okay.
It's at TalknShop Live from Riveters in Tampa, Florida.
Okay.
You can, if you want to get tickets, go to tnsmania.com, click the link. And I think we're doing meet and greets. We're going to do like a live podcast. And we're probably going to be just drinking a bunch of alcohol and having a good time.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you guys are recording it, I'm assuming to release after maybe like some stream or something, or no?
We might stream it. We've been talking about streaming it on our Patreon. So if you can't make it out to Tampa, definitely, or you can't make it out live, I should say, check out the Patreon, which is TalknShop on Patreon, patreon.com/TalknShop.
TalknShop. You can be a little hoot, a big hoot, or a famous hoot.
Yes. That's our tiers. Little hoot, $5. Big hoot, $10. Famous hoot, $20.
Not bad.
And we do like these things with these meetups like twice a month called Boozing with the Boys. And we just hang out with the fans online. I mean, like we have a whole community of people. And then we also have like other events during the week, like every Wednesday night when AEW is on. We have a group of fans that get together on Patreon and watch it together and talk about it. So it's a really cool community that just kind of started from this crazy ass podcast, so like, I don't know, it's awesome.
It's really, that's the future for stuff like this, for platforms, for podcasts and everything, is that community. Like I've been trying to explain that to a few other podcasts that hit me up. They're like, how are you, getting these guests and how's your show blowing up? And I'm like, community, dude. Talk to your fans. That's important.
Yeah.
Get the Patreon going, get a Discord or whatever. Do something, And you guys got it down with the Patreon. I love the idea of Boozing with the Boys. I'm gonna have to jump in on one of those and get wasted and just jump in.
Dude, yeah. Whenever, for sure. I'll send you an invite for the next one for sure.
Man, I want to get in there.
even the major wrestling podcast, Cardano and Cardona and Myers, they stole the idea from it. They call it Boozing with the Toys.
Of course they did. Of course.
They're always stealing our shit.
Yeah. Hey, so have you thought, now that you're doing this Bloodsport stuff and you're kind of hanging out in the Josh Barnett world, MMA ever like want to do that again, or like no? Don't want to mess up the pretty face.
I'm too old now.
You're too old.
I'm too old now. I don't want to work that hard, like to get. I thought about it in like, there was a time, it was like 2000. I think the last time was like maybe like 2007, 2008 or 2010, something like that. No, I think it was like 2010. And I had just left AAA. And I came back to the States. I didn't know what exactly I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to land. I didn't know if I was going to even pursue wrestling anymore. Like I was just kind of like tired of everything, like kind of, living in Mexico and working, down there, kind of like, it was great, but it was also like, it kind of took a lot out of me, like for passion wise for the business. And I thought about doing MMA. So I had talked to Josh. He was like, well, come train with me and we'll go from there. I would think I went for about a month, maybe really hard, going to like fighter practice, maybe even less. And I was just getting hit in the face too much. And I was like, do I really want to get hit in the face for the rest of my life like this? Like, and try to make a buck. It's like, this is going to be a lot harder.
Yeah.
Like, after all the years that you've put in, I was like, this is going to be such a major change. And you're going to basically start over. So I was like, maybe wrestling I could start over, but I don't know if I could start over in MMA. So like, I got humbled and like, that was it.
Hey man, the thing is, training with Josh, he doesn't go, he only knows how to go hard. So
yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah, 100%. It's like the hardest practices of my life has always been with Josh.
Yeah, dude, I went out with that dude to a bar after a concert, and another band member from a band, I think Bad Wolves, his name's John. He like wasted, goes up to Josh and he's like, I challenge you to an arm wrestling match. And I look at him, I'm like, no, you don't.
Dude. Josh is a trained killer.
Yeah, what are you doing?
He's a legit trained killer. He was UFC heavyweight champion. He was pancreas champion.
Yeah, when he said that, I'm like, really? Let me get my phone out. Hold on. I need to record this one.
It's like, even if Josh was to lose, you're going to get armbarred or knocked out.
It's going to smash your hand through the desk or whatever table you're on. That's it.
Exactly.
Man. Well, that's good. I mean, yeah. I mean, Barnett's still fighting. He did a bare knuckle match the other day, and I'm blown away by that.
That was wild.
Because I mean, I'm a year older than you, and I'm like done doing any of that. Like if I train, it's only just for fun. Like it's not for a competition of any kind, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I could put my body through that at this point. But I'm still so excited about wrestling still, like things like this, like Bloodsport. I want to do like the fun stuff, or at least what's fun to me. And kind of something, things that are like challenging. Cause I sat back and I was like, I've done a lot, I've done like a lot. It's been a long career, like 20 something years. And like, I only want to do the stuff that makes me happy. And I want to do the things that like, I'll have drive for, as opposed to like just doing it and not being happy and not, just working, wrestling and not enjoying it or it be fulfilling, so. Yeah.
Do you have all your championships? Like, do you keep some? Like, You
usually got to give them back. I have a junior tag one, like upstairs somewhere.
They don't give you like a duplicate to take home or like a replica or something like that?
No.
No. I mean, I would think so, right?
Usually just one. Well, because there's usually only one championship, and like that's the one that they pass from person to person.
Well, yeah, I imagine that. Like that's fine, but I mean, like you should have something that you can take home and put on your wall to be like, look, I did that.
I guess I got the most junior tag championships of all time, like 8 or something.
Do they give you like a plaque or something?
I have one of those. Oh, okay. I have one.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, cool, at least something.
Yeah.
All right.
They give you pictures.
They give you pictures.
Make it into an NFT. That's how they do.
Right. Get that cryptocurrency. I've been trying to figure out. I have friends of mine that never have released any kind of art, hitting me up like, hey man, how do I release my art on NFT? I'm like, really?
That's what you want to do now?
All right. I don't know. I guess I'm going to have to figure it out at some point because that is the future. They're already talking about you can buy shit online with cryptocurrency now. So it's. I
mean, Chico El Luchador is even jumping on it. He released something called Chico Coin. I don't know. I feel like he's
Chico
just
Coin.
He's just trying to rip people off, but he released it.
All right.
Open seed.
All right.
You got to get on it. I mean, crypto's the future.
It is the future. It is, man. And you don't want to get left behind. Like every time I see something like this, and the older I get, I'm kind of like, oh, God damn it, I got to learn something new. But it's fine. You got to learn it. Because otherwise you get left behind. You don't want that.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's what I did. Like I went to Japan in December for the Tokyo Dome. So there's a 2-week quarantine, right? So for the 2 weeks, I studied my little butt off on crypto, and now I'm a crypto junkie, as they say, because like now I'm educated myself about what it was. Cause like I kind of dipped my toe in every once in a while. And the last time I dipped my toe in, I was just telling somebody, I was like, I bought like 3/4 of a Bitcoin, right? Or like 7.75 of a Bitcoin. Now, if I would have held on to it, it would have been worth like $60,000 or whatever, 50 something $1,000, whatever that was. But now, so like I wanted to know but I didn't know what I was buying. I was just buying a thing that people kept talking about and didn't know what the utility was or like what they do. But like now I'm fully in and I'm educated and I know about it. So like, I completely think that that's the future. And if you have the opportunity to jump in, I mean, I think you should definitely look into it, and consider it.
Yeah. Even a dumbass like me, I have Bitcoins and Ethereum and a couple, I have a cryptocurrency portfolio.
Nice.
Yeah. You know who got me into it?
Who?
Sandman.
Really?
Dude.
Sandman, the crypto guy?
Dude. He came down here to Southern California, PCW Ultra. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah.
And he did a dude. First of all, I never thought in my entire life that in my 30s I was going to see Sandman versus Terry Funk in Southern California in a death match. But there they were, bleeding to death in their 50s.
Wow. Terry's got to be almost 70, right?
It's Funk, yeah. That's wild. It's wild. And so after the show, though, I'm buddies with Joseph the Sheik, and we're hanging out, talking to him, and Sandman walks by with his suitcase, and he's like, "What are you guys doing after?" I'm like, what are you doing after? And he's like, "I'm going to the hotel to drink." I'm like, "Yes, that's what I'm doing too." I don't have a room in the hotel, but I'm going to go to that hotel to drink with you. And then it was him and Zach Sabre Jr. We met up and with a couple friends of mine too, and we just taking shots of tequila while Sandman educated me on Bitcoin.
Damn, a while ago then, right?
I mean, a couple of years, 3 years ago.
Damn.
And he was all about it. So I'm good for him because he was ahead of the game for me. I started investing after that. I'm like, you know what? If Sandman's into it, something's up.
Yeah. And look at it now.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how much has blown up in the last especially even in the last year and a half. So like
PayPal's doing it now, and they're letting people buy shit with their crypto wallet. Like you can just
Visa is gonna start accepting Ethereum. So it's like
it's over. There goes the U.S. currency. That's it.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be the biggest transition of wealth back to from the 1%, as they say, back
to the people.
Kind of people, especially the middle class. So I think it's important because I mean it really is the future. It's in so many ways, and whether you want to hold Bitcoin or that's probably the safest way to do it, is just by holding on to Bitcoin and just holding on to it forever. I mean, what if you bought gold, tons of gold, back in the day, I mean, held on to it now. I mean, I think it's going to be, eventually they're going to take over gold's market cap and it's going to be massive,
And it's so easy to do.
So easy to do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hard parts. I think people just get turned off. I got to do what? I got to make a wallet.
Dude, get a PayPal and that's it. Every paycheck I throw money at it that I'm like, you know what? I would have dropped this money on beer.
Right.
Let me throw it in here instead. Maybe buy less beer. And, I'll have, a 6-pack as opposed to 2 6-packs, whatever, just cut
you're going to be able to buy the whole bar.
Exactly. Well, now I have a bar, I never had a bar my whole life, but now I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. People might not be into this, but y'all should look into it. If you're not into it, you should definitely look into it because you don't want to miss the trend because one day Bitcoin is going to be so expensive, you're not going to want to get into it.
It's going to be hard to get in. Yeah.
It's going to be hard to get in because it's scarce and there's only a limited amount of it. So do it while you can.
Yeah. Because it's going to suck if you don't have, if let's say, for example, crypto becomes the main currency for everything and dollars are not they're worth crap. Like the Cuban, pesos or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? What are you going to do? You're poor now. You got to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, when I went to Cuba, I used to speak Spanish with my mom all the time. And we would call dollars pesos. It was just in my brain. It was like Band-Aids are all Band-Aids. I mean, all video game systems are a Nintendo, whatever it is. So
my mom still says, like, you play Nintendo still?
So, but to me, the dollar was pesos. So I went to Cuba and I had a bunch of money on me. So I found this lady selling pizzas, and I was hanging out with a bunch of kids. I'm like, give me all your pizzas. I'm going to buy them and give them to the kids. And the lady goes, oh, okay, 20 pesos. So I gave her a $20 bill, and she passed out.
Wait, are you serious?
She fell to the ground. I'm like, wait, what? And I pick her up. I'm like, are you okay? Like, fanning her, giving her some water. And she's like, Miño, put that away. Put that away. I'm like, what do you mean? You said $20. And she was like, that's too much money. They're going to rob you. I'm like, oh.
Like, wait, what?
Oh. So I still gave it.
My bad.
I still gave it to her. I'm like, here, put that away. It's just $20 to me. Just put it away, and give me all of your food, and I'll go feed the kids. But
wow,
dude, it was nuts back. I don't know if it's still as bad. I know now there's more like they've taken down the embargo, so there's more communication between Cuba. But back then, it was like a dollar was like $40 pesos or some shit or even more, like 80 pesos a dollar or some shit like that. So
wow,
so $20 is a whole lot of money for them.
Crazy.
Yeah, man.
But and that's what very well, maybe not to that extreme, but that could happen to our U.S. economy. And,
it's gonna happen. I see it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, especially coming out of this pandemic. I mean, we're watching it happen right now. As they're creating money out of thin air, so.
Dude,
we'll see what happens,
I have so much I want to talk to you about, and I know we have limited time and you're busy. You got to move. How much time do you have?
I got about maybe like 15, 20 more minutes.
All right, cool. Well, I wanted to talk to you about your whiskey with the TalknShop. How much involvement do you have with that?
I mean, they sent us some samples. We tasted them. We selected the one we liked. And then we helped with the label, and now it's out. And I like the first batch completely sold out online. I think the only way you could get it was the actual they had some bottles like at the actual brewery, but besides that, it is sold out. So they're working on the second batch now, which I think it should be done like really, really soon. So we actually just got a text from the brewery recently. So or the distillery, I should say. So we're super excited about it. I mean, it does its job. Let me tell you that.
It does its job. Gets you fucked up. That's good.
More importantly.
Yeah, man. I mean, I saw the announcement. I'm like, that makes perfect sense. In fact, you should have a whole alcohol line.
Oh yeah. Well, sorry, my dog's there. But no, it started with we wanted to do a beer really bad because I think first of all, we're all beer drinkers first, right? Like we love the taste of beer. We love beer. So it kind of started with that, and we were working with a brewery out in Nashville, I think. And but like COVID happened, they weren't too sure about like how the laws were going to change, and it kind of just like turned things. So like we got the initial I think he bottled maybe like 100 cans for us. So we had like the first batch, and we were just like we were just drinking them and like talking about them. We saw them on like Impact for like the first like month or so. And then they were done. So we didn't actually get to sell them. So then my wife was like, well, why don't you guys, you guys do like wine, we always call them, red wine, the blood, right? We like to drink wine too. So yeah. My wife was like, that might be an easier way to get it to everybody. So she reached out to a winery, and we talked to them. They got really excited about like, what we could do. And we turned out the wine was easy. We turned out the wine like really quickly. So we've got a red wine, we've got a white wine. The red wine is the Hoop Blood. White wine is Blanco. We named it after the wives to kind of just say, they always deal with us and put up with us. So we kind of like, we on the label, it's like got our three wives on there. So we thought it was cool. And so, yeah, that's available at tnsmania.com, both of those. and we still got plenty of supply. And we're actually doing a rosé that we're calling Brosé. And I like rosé because I like the taste of rosé. Like it's something like if you just want something light, it's like great, you know.
Yeah.
So we call it Brosé, and we put the hood on there, the owl,
nice.
And we're gonna be doing a limited. I think we're doing like 50 bottles at first, so it'll be like a limited edition, like summer type thing.
Nice.
And so like the wine we've got down. So now we've got the bourbon, you know, so the bourbon's good. And then now the next venture will definitely be the beer.
Well, you know what the name of the podcast is, the RRBG. You know what that means, right?
No.
Our rock and roll beer guy.
Oh,
that's what
are you serious?
That's who I am. Yeah. I'm helping. Well, no, you know what?
Are you the plug for the beer?
Yes. I'm gonna look. Hold on a second. I have to cut this out, and we're back.
We had to go. I'm sorry, there, Hoots. We had to go talk a little side business. Anyway, it's gonna be good. Keep it.
Well, it's good to hear that the wine's ready, the bourbon's ready, and hopefully a beer is ready in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
I love the whole thing, man. I'm a big, as I said, I'm a big drinker as well. I'm not like I used to be. Way worse. When I was working in the beer industry full time, I was drinking like 10 beers a day or some wild shit like that. And ever since I left the full time job, like I'm like, all right, I can't be drunk on Tuesday.
To get up for Wednesday, that's the biggest problem.
Right, the hangovers, man. It's too much. I got to work during the week and get it done right, But my weekends, I still go hard. When I have nothing to do the next day, I'm like, I'm right now drinking a Joe Rogan Killcliff CBD drink, pineapple jalapeno with tequila.
Holy shit! How is that?
It's good. It's tasty.
Wonderful.
Yeah, these are one of the sponsors of our show. You live in LA. I got to get you some of this. I
always see like Kill Cliff stuff. I've never had it, so I definitely need to get on it.
I'll get you hooked up. And then also drinking my beer, which I'm out of, and I need another one. But just to get close to wrapping up the show, I also, I wanted to know a little bit more about you too, like personally. How Latino do you like? Is your culture in like? How much of it do you follow at home? Like, are you cooking arroyandul ever? How far do you go? Do you still go see the family? Do you guys do all the holidays and stuff?
That's a good question. So, like, my mom makes it. Like she'll make like arroz con gandules, and like she'll make a pernil like once a year for us. So it's not as much as like obviously like when I was living in my mom's house, and she would make it more often. But we have pasteles and pastelillos every once in a while. So like. That and that's what I'm all about. Any kind of empanada. That's my shit right there.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'm all about an empanada. So, so my dad was born in Rincon, Puerto Rico. Okay. So like, he was like very, like Afro Latino, like very dark skinned. So like, it's funny, like when they moved to the States, a lot of people that, sometimes they'd be speaking, or like, especially when they came to LA, a lot of people would be speaking Spanish. They didn't know my dad can speak fluent, perfect Spanish, My mom, she did okay. She speaks Spanish, but they just didn't really speak in the house, so I didn't really grow up like speaking Spanish except for like, every curse word under the,
right.
Under the book. But other than that, I had some of the culture, I think, through that. There was always, salsa music playing as far back as I can remember, Hector Lavoe. I mean, it was like my parents' age, coming through like the late 70s and 80s, Ruben Blades, all these guys. So like
Ruben Blades.
Yeah, Ruben Blades. Shout out to Ruben Blades, man. What a career he's in.
Yeah.
And Willie Colon, all these guys, man, he was dope as hell.
Yeah. Man.
So like I don't feel like I really like had I grew up with it. Like I didn't really have a love for it, and so like I think I got a little older, then I started to really appreciate like that part of my culture. Like the music and even more of the food, because you don't get to have it. that much anymore, you know? So like when we were having it frequently, and now it's like a treat, like, oh, I'm going to have this, you know? So like, I don't know, it's cool. And then Puerto Rico itself, I haven't been in a really long time, you know, like, unfortunately. But I mean, I think I went maybe like 3 or 4 times in my lifetime. And I mean, it's definitely like exactly, you know, what the name of the Isla de Encanta. It's like, it's a beautiful, beautiful island with like beautiful people. And it's like right in the Caribbean. It's incredible, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm wondering how they're doing after like being bombarded with all these hurricanes. Like now, you know, at the time it's bad, but now too, like all the rot and shit that's got to be going on, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, like just family that we've talked to, they, like my mom always like, when I go, like, how's our family in Puerto Rico? And she kind of like gives me updates every once in a while. And it's just like, yeah, you know, everything's okay. You know, like they were okay during the hurricanes, but then, you know, they couldn't really like leave their area, you know? So like they had to, like one of my cousins who works for a telephone company, he was one of the first people they sent over to help get like the lines and everything back so they could have, you know, telephone service and cell phone service. So, you know, he was like, tell me where everybody lives, because I had access to supplies. So, you know, we were like checking with all the family members, like who needs what, like, you know, my cousin can try to see if he can get it to you. So like he was like out there like driving supplies to like family members and stuff. It was wild when that hurricane hit. And
that's nuts, man.
Like, yeah, I mean, like even like what can you do? Like you try to do as much as you can. Like we're able to like raise a little bit of money. Like myself, Colt Cabana, and Ian Riccaboni. I remember at Ring of Honor, we did a show in Miami. We were raising.
That's awesome.
Funds. Yeah, we were raising funds, and I put up some like costumes and stuff that I had, like and that we eBayed and sold. And we did another thing here in LA with EWF with Jesse Hernandez in LA. That was cool. And you know, we raised a few $1,000, you know, and sent it over there. So like, I don't know, it was like, when you have a history like that, especially like my dad was born there, like, I don't know, maybe you felt this when you went to Cuba, but you feel like there's something that connects you to that, right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
You feel like, I don't want to say like it's home, but it feels, there's something of that feeling like in your, like internally, you know, that you feel. So I don't know. I just like, I wanted to, I wish that I was more involved in it. Like I wish like I would go there for summers or something like when I was a kid, because, you know, I wish it was more part of my culture, especially growing up in LA. It feels like so disconnected.
Yeah.
You know, Puerto Rican culture out here. Like there's not very many Puerto Ricans, not very many Cubans, you know? So like, I think the Puerto Rican would have like the Puerto Rican Day thing, like in like what is it, Bonilla Park or whatever? Like here.
Yeah. But I've never been to that. Like it seems forced. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never been to it either. I mean, I probably like it though. I feel like it would be a good excuse to get drunk, but like
yeah, for sure, get drunk, get some good food in you. I'm sure.
Probably some good food too. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so sad. I moved to LA 4 years ago from Miami.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, and there is no Cuban food out here. There are some restaurants that exist that say that they make Cuban food,
right?
But no. And today specifically, that was my lunch. I found this. I've been on a hunt. I found this place called El Gamao. It had like a Cuban sounding name. I'm like, oh, okay. And they have this soup that Cubans eat called caldo gallego, which is a Galician soup of some kind with chorizo and potato and white beans and shit. And they had it. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, give me that. Give me a Cuban sandwich. Give me some, papa rellena, whatever you got. And all of it was awful.
Really?
It was all so wrong. Like the Cuban sandwich was literally a French bread with ham and cheese. It was a ham and cheese sandwich.
That doesn't sound good at all.
What is this? It was so bad that people take pictures of their food for Instagram and shit. I did that, but not to be in the show off. I was just like, this can't be this terrible. Send it to my Cuban friends. I'm like, what is this bullshit?
Yeah, damn. I'm actually, so after this Tampa thing, like we're probably going to move to Florida. We're probably going to move to the East Coast.
But you just got a new place. What, you're just moving right now?
No, we moved out of our old place.
Oh, okay.
We're still hold on, that's my children. But we just moved out of our old place in LA. We're staying with family now.
Oh, okay.
And then while we kind of check out Florida, to be honest. So it starts with Tampa, but we're gonna probably look at, we're gonna look in Orlando, we're gonna look in the Miami area as well. So
I'd stay away from Miami if I were you.
Yeah. It's gonna be the Bitcoin capital of the world.
I say stick in Tampa, and then like you can visit Miami because it's not that far, you know.
I'm gonna have to get some spots though to go eat, because that's like the one thing. She's like, "What do you want to do when you get over there?" I was like, "The only thing I want to do is I want to eat Cuban food, and I want to have some spots."
I got some spots for you. Don't worry. I got recommendations.
Yeah.
I'm not a chef, but I've seriously considered like starting a Kickstarter or something. Like, I'll start at the first real ass Cuban place in LA, because none of these places. Porto's is as close as it gets. Porto's is as close as it gets, but you're not there. But Sayas is run by Mexicans. Like, no. Right. And I have nothing against Mexican people, but you don't know, it's not your culture. You're not making the right food.
It's just a little different, yeah.
Yeah. So, sure. And I've tried them all. Like, Cochinito's not bad up in like Beverly Hills or like North Hollywood or something. It's not bad, but $12 for a Cuban sandwich. That sandwich should be $6, you know? Yeah. But anyway, I digress, as they say.
You know what? You got to look for the trucks. There's some decent trucks, I feel like, that they usually like they'll have like an actual Cuban dude. I feel like I had one. Maybe it was like the Cuban guy.
Or John Favreau's, he's got his Chef Bono truck or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's what it was, like John Leguizamo's.
Jesus Christ, man. All right, but anyway, let's wrap it up. So, Bloodsport, April 8th. You're going up against Chavo Guerrero.
Yep.
It's going to be a classic. I already know it.
I have a feeling that it might, to be honest, like, if there wasn't the star power of Barnett versus Moxley, I would think that maybe Chavo versus Rocky could literally 100% steal the show.
For sure. I think, it's again, yes, like you said, the star power. And also, it's Barnett's show.
And it's the weight of how long, the third time that they're finally going to be able to do it, the anticipation of that. So, like, if you took those factors out of it, Rocky Chavo would be the one.
For sure. Got to put you over. That's the way. Like,
That's the only way I'll take it. Yeah.
No, for sure. It's definitely a stacked card. I'm excited to see it. I mean, and ever since 4 and 5 were, I feel like they figured it out. The production value, the camera angles, the lighting, everything looked like something new, where like the first couple still looked like a live, independent show. It was good, but it was just like a live independent show, where like now there's more good cameras and good lighting, and it's a thing, man. Don't miss it. I know every time there's a Bloodsport, I talk about it on the show. I have people that are going to be on the card on the show. It's not because I'm being paid. I'm not being paid to do this. I just genuinely love it and love what you guys are doing, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, I'm excited for it. I hope everybody will check it out. I don't know where it's streaming. Do you know where it's streaming? I think it might be.
It's streaming Game Changer Wrestling. I got here. You can get tickets at Eventbrite. Fight TV. I believe it has it on the flyer. So Fight TV is where you'll be able to order it. But just Google Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 6, April 8th. You got your Talk-N-Shop live event April 9th.
Yep. 10 p.m. You can get tickets at tnsmania.com, and then check out the patreon.com/TalknShop for more info.
Become a hoot. Get to know what that even means. Get to know what it means to be a good brother, to be
good sister. Yep.
Yeah, good sister. Learn what it is to be brothered softly.
I've been trying to figure out what brother softly means for I don't know how long.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I posted I got some new headshots and I posted it up on Facebook, and I just put the hashtag brother me softly, and my wife's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, don't worry about it. And she got mad. She got mad. Yeah, she got mad. She's like, what? Wow. Okay. I'm like, no, you just wouldn't understand. All right. Like, it's fine. But learn about it's a fun show. You guys talk to some great workers and performers and people of different. It's not just all. Is it all just wrestlers? No, right? You got other guests.
No, we got some different people from all over, and to be honest, it's just really like what it is like being in the locker room, hanging out with with the wrestlers or the guys or gals, and or like what you do after, like you go and have a beer and talk about, what happened at the show or what's going on in life.
Or Bitcoin with Sandman.
Bitcoin with Sandman. Who would have known? Dude. Sandman's like Bitcoin rich right now. Who would have known? He's probably his portfolio. I got to know what's in his portfolio. Sandman, wherever you're at, let us know.
Hit him up. But yeah, get on the Patreon, guys. It's worth it. There's also some free clips. If you don't have the money for Patreon, there's free episodes on YouTube, right? As well.
Yep, free episodes on YouTube, and then you can also listen to the podcast audio podcast on Spotify,
all the things, Apple, Google.
Yeah.
And if they want to follow you, figure out what's going on with your life at Azucar. Right? Azucar Rock?
Yeah, at Azucar Rock, AZUCARROC, on Twitter, on Instagram, and also on TikTok.
On TikTok. Nice.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. That's the future. So get on it. But yeah, brother, thank you so much for your time. I wish you the best on the match and also your career. Obviously your career is already, dude, you looking at the list of your championships, it's insane. So you've had a great career, and it's I'm sure it's only going to get better and bigger, and until it's not anymore, and then you're still doing shit, because that's how it goes.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to go as hard as I can while I can, and and then also try to my next thing is trying to give back to this next generation of wrestlers who, like me, just wanted to do it, didn't know how to do it, and then found a way somehow to make it work. So. That's what I do, and a great way to kind of help develop and watch is, I'm extremely a part of the New Japan system called, New Japan Strong. It's every Friday night on NJPWworld.com. You can see all the young and up and coming talent that, that we've kind of handpicked to be a part of this.
The Young Lions.
Yeah, the Young Lions, so check it out. I think it's a great show. I think it's the best pure wrestling show on anywhere right now, streaming on TV, wherever.
Awesome, man. Oh, you know what? Before I let you go, if I don't mention, my buddy Raynon Bozio sent me a question. Bozio, I got his last name wrong. Raynon, he wants to know if you prefer takoyaki or okonomiyaki.
Damn, that's a good one. Okonomiyaki I would go with that over takoyaki. Takoyaki is like octopus balls, right?
Not testicles.
Not testicles, like fried octopus balls. Yeah. And then okonomiyaki is like a pancake style fried thing. I don't know, it's incredible, especially like with beers and stuff. It's insane. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, my buddy Raynon, his son of the famous drummer Terry Bozzio of Frank Zappa, he's been training lately to getting that brother pump going.
Okay.
And
the Gallows brother pump.
Yeah, he's getting jacked, dude, because he wants to give it a go in the ring. And I told him, like, we got Santino Brothers not too far, and the New Japan Dojo, and get it going. And I'll help you if you let me be your manager. I'm too old to go in the ring, but I'll be the guy. I'll be the manager / mouthpiece that can take a bump outside. No problem.
Beautiful.
I'll take a chair shot. That I can handle. Well, hey, brother. Thank you again. It's an honor to have you on for real. And we'll be in touch. I'll hit you up about some business.
Little side stuff? Okay, cool.
All right,
I appreciate it. All right, thanks for having me, everybody. See you soon.
Too sweet, brother.
Yeah. You rise and you fall. You fall and you rise.
Back the hell up, she's 6 feet away. Act the hell up, been stuck in the house like she's in the days. And I'm about to lose it, I'm about to lose it. I'ma blow a gasket, 155 straight to the casket. They'll be ready for the answer. Someday, they'll be ready for my call. Someday, these 15 will be over. 15 will be over. know it's gonna pop. Shoes be Louis V, but you can't get socks. They hate me when I do. When I do the guapo rock, now they all want me to fall. Said it was my time, I couldn't have it all. Drinking all my wine, till there's no more left for me. In this life we all promised anything. Someday they'll be ready for the answer. Someday they'll be ready for my fall. Someday these 15 will be over. 15 will be over. Someday I'll be ready for the more. I'll be ready for the more. Someday these 15 will be over.
Enough is enough.
Someday
We tolerate.
I'll be ready for the more. Someday
Tonight, troubling new data from the World Health Organization.
So I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to say that we in Congress have some responsibility to the people we serve.